Bakit po ni-reject ng ICC ang apela ng kampo ni Duterte para sa interim release o pansamantalang paglaya? Ano pong dahilan?
So, unahin ko muna, Karen, kung ano ba talaga yung grounds ng appeal niya. So, una, umapela siya dahil sabi ng kampo niya na mali yung pinagpasahan ng pre-trial chamber na sabihin siya ay risk. Una, na hindi sisipot. Pangalawa, hindi siya papakialaman niya yung proceedings o magtatamper sa ebidensya. And then pangatlo, gagawa ng dagdag krimen. Yan yung mga risks. Pangalawa, sabi daw ng pre-trial chamber, mali sila na hindi in-appreciate o kinilala yung garantiya nung tatanggap na estado. Kasi merong risk, pero para kumbaga maibsan yung pangamba na naku, tatakas yan, may bansa naman na nagagaranti na hindi yan tatakas. At pangatlo, yung sa totoo, yung sinasabing humanitarian grounds, nabagit naman, exceptional na yan na circumstances. Uunahin talaga yung number one. At ito yung pasya ng appeals chamber. Number one, mali ba yung pre-trial chamber sa kanilang appreciation ng statements ni Sara sa kanyang current situation na siya ay, yun nga, dating presidente at kaka-elect lang na mayor ng Davao? Sabi ng appeals chamber, tama naman yung pre-trial chamber na binuo nila yung pagtingin doon sa sitwasyon. Hindi ito simpleng dahil sinasabi ni Duterte hindi siya tatakas, dahil sinasabi ni Duterte hindi na siya gagawa ng krimen. Hindi ganon. Yung posibilidad na tatakas siya, posibilidad na pakialaman niya yung proceedings, makikita mo yon sa nakaupo lahat ng anak sa gobyerno. May sinabi si Sara. Tapos, yung ultimo pa nga na pinupunto, yung kasaysayan niya sa pag-interfere sa proceedings nung panahon na imbinestigahan yung DDS killings. Ito yung 2019-2018 na sa pamumuno ni Senator De Lima. Pagkatapos nun, nakulong si Senator De Lima. At ito yung isang medyo evidentiary point na binanggit ng appeals chamber. Sabi niya, news report lang ang pinagbatayan nung di umano, binrief kasi yung isang witness, si Les Cañas ito, sa Senate. At sinabi daw ni Alan Peter Cayetano na noon katatapos lang tumakbo bilang Vice President at natalo ni Gong. Sabi daw niya, loyalty check tayo alam mo na kung kanino tayo loyal. Tama, sabi nung appeals chamber, tama naman yung desisyon ng pre-trial chamber na pagbatayan kahit news report. Tapos dun sa pangalawa, yung state guarantees, that the pre-trial chamber made errors in the appreciation of state guarantees. Sabi nila, sabihin na nating may risk na kahit ano pa, kumbaga, ang sabihin ng estado, yung receiving state, patungkol dito sa risks, na sige, what if lagyan namin ng bracelet or anklet sa paa? May mga ganon na offer.
Or bantayan kung matindi.
Oo, ganon. Hindi pa rin kaya kasi yung number one, risk siya na hindi tatakas, hindi sisipot. Risk siya na pakikialaman yung ebidensya or yung witnesses. Pangatlo, dagdag na krimen. Kasi dito naman, siya ang may problema dun sa dagdag na krimen na nangako siya na dodoble ang patayan sa Davao pag naging mayor siya. At yung pangatlong grounds, ito yung technical grounds. Ito na yung sabi ng court, okay, sige, may exception, humanitarian grounds. Bihira na mag-consider ng humanitarian grounds yung ICC. Alam niyo kung bakit? Ito yung hindi nila binanggit, pero i-share ko. Kasi ang taas ng standards ng ICC detention facility with regard to safekeeping. At yung health nila, pwedeng masagot through proper care within their guidelines. Kaya sabi nila,
maayos ang detention center ng ICC.
At saka yung healthcare, kung sa atin, di ba, parang bitin-bitin tayo, sa kanila, physical and mental health has to be ensured. And therefore, yung pre-trial chamber ay tama nung in-appreciate naman nila. Nagbasa naman kasi yan ng medical report. Kaya lang dito, sabi ng appeal, kasi sabi ng pre-trial chamber, we are unconvinced. Hindi kami nakumbinse ng mga report na binigay ng kampo ni Duterte na dapat siyang palabasin. Kaya sabi ng appeals chamber, tama lang naman. Kung hindi sila nakumbinse, di lalong hindi kami nakumbinse kung ano man ang dinagdag na ebidensya ng kampo niya. Kaya ultimo, sa totoo, kasalanan po ito ng defense na either kulang yung ebidensya or mali yung argumento.
Oo. So, ang tanong ngayon, ngayong ni-reject ang apela tapos na ba, Attorney Conti, ang isyong yon? Wala nang isa pang apela.
Tapos ang boxing, pero pag alam niyo naman, si Pacquiao, gusto sabihin na, laban ulit tayo. makipag laban ulit kay Mayweather.
Pero
pwede
meron
pa ulit.
Meron pa bang, parang kumbaga, meron pang itataas ang apela?
Wala na.
Wala
Kung
na.
dito sa kasong to, tapos na to. Yung apela niya, as of the situation, nung June at saka parang August, September, kasi 2 beses niya inulit to, tapos na yon. Kung may bagong ground, sabihin niya, ay, lumala ang kaso ko, ay, ganito.
Ang sakit.
Yun.
Ang sakit.
Pwedeng doon gumawa ng bago. Kumbaga, bagong laban, bagong circumstances. Pero nabanggit din ni Kaufman na he has reiterated or reintroduced the concept of interim release doon sa request niya na ipatigil ang kaso dahil hindi na okay si Duterte. Meron siyang maliit doon na sa dulo na pinagpapasyahan niyo po kung fit to stand trial, sabi niya sa judges, pwede bang payagan niyo na makalaya muna siya. So, na-introduce na ulit niya yun, nandun na yun sa records, pero sa palagay ko ay hindi yun pagbibigyan at pupunta na lang yung judges sa pre-trial chamber dun sa mismong issue, yung fitness to stand trial, at yun yung next nating kakaharapin.
Okay, so ang susunod is the fitness to stand trial. Sino ang magsasabi objectively na pwede?
Yung judges, yung 3 judges na una nating nakita, si Julia Motok at yung mga kasama niya, yun yung pre-trial chamber na magpapasya. Merong experts at mga doktor na mag-o-opinion at deadline ng comments nila Friday, December 5. Next week, the following week, yung prosecution, defense, victims pwedeng mag-comment dun sa findings. Pero ultimo, yung judges ang magsasabi, okay pa ba to, fit to stand trial ba si Duterte?
Now, what does this mean for the trial proper itself, right? So, syempre, ang daming pwedeng i-apila ng defense. Interim release, he's not fit to stand trial, etc. Pero ang naghihintay, yung mga pamilya ng biktima na gusto na nila mag-proceed na talaga yung pagdinig. Kailan na yun?
Well, from my estimation, earliest is February.
Okay.
So, December, unfortunately, the last day of the court is December 12. So, sabi ko nga kanina, pwede ba na matanggap nila yung comments tapos mag-rule na sila on fitness to stand trial? Pwede. So, pwede nilang ihabol bago Pasko yung decision. Pero, from my estimation, most likely, they will decide on fitness to stand trial January. And they might schedule the confirmation of charges hearing in a month. So, February. Of course, that's a reasonable enough period estimation, but it's up to the judges to surprise us. December, yes, fit to stand trial. January ang hearing. That's hopeful thinking.
Oo, kasi mahirap din na matagal ang pagdinig kasi matanda na nga ang dating Pangulong Duterte. So karapat dapat matapos ito at the soonest possible time, both for the victims and for him.
Yes. Sabi nga namin na sa totoo lang, yung interim release, factor yon para magtuloy-tuloy yung trial. Dahil kung makakalaya yan, yun nga, baka kung ano pang masabotahe, kung ano pang mangyari. Kaya yung pag-stay niya in detention is also beneficial and advantageous for him so that he faces the meat of the case. Kung dito na tayo sa issue, tapos na yan yung trial, I know that I've mentioned that on the average, it goes for about 8 to 9 years. But more recently, nung pumunta ako doon at sa training namin, sabi namin, ano ba, kaya ba to ng mas mabilis? The quickest that they have done it is 2 years plus. So about 3 years. And I get this feeling that the prosecution is eyeing for a quick trial, quick presentation, 2 years, kakayanin daw nila.
Because tama ba yun? Isa lang ang charge? Is that correct?
Essentially, there's 3 charges, but it's crimes against humanity in the acts of murder. Yung nahati lang dahil hinati nila sa panahon, meaning yung the intention, panahon na patayan nung panahon na mayor siya, patayan nung presidente siya, pero yung tawag natin lower barrel, ito yung mga barangay. Tapos patayan nung mayor siya, pero yung upper barrel o yung mga others, high value targets.
Oo. Kasi hindi daw po tulad nung ibang mga leader na ang dami-daming charges. Ito daw mas streamlined ang charge against him.
And in fact, Karen, that's why we think that the prosecution only mentioned or will only prove 49 incidents of killings. Sabi nung iba, hala, konti naman, sabi nyo 30,000. But that's not a factor. If he's convicted on the killing of one person, he is convicted for crimes against humanity. So it doesn't really matter in that sense, in a procedural, in a legal sense. Pero of course, it affects the victims kasi liliit yung scope of victimhood. Kumbaga, hindi makakasali yung ibang biktima, labas probably dun sa 49 incidents. Kaya may balanse yan, pero sa ngayon, tulungan kami ng Office of the Prosecutor and Office of the Public Counsel for Victims.
Okay. Another question is Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa. There were talks, okay, meron na daw siyang warrant of arrest, nakita ata ito digitally, hindi natin alam ngayon. Sinabi mo sa amin, hindi ito i-release ng ICC, diba? Pero ang tanong, I interviewed former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Ken Bato, I know if he could be a suspect na may warrant, but can't he also be a witness for the president? Sinabi
Well,
nila,
yes.
technically, pwede niya tulungan ang dating Pangulong Duterte kung gusto niya. Pwede niya sabihin, testigo po ako, hindi niya alam ang nangyayari, etc., etc. Pwede ba yun?
Yes, definitely. But if the intention is for him to be a state witness at ma-immune from suit, kumbaga hindi na makasuhan, sorry, wala pong ganun sa ICC. If you are one of the most responsible, you are. But you can testify for in behalf of yourself and in the cases of others. Pwedeng nangyayari na yan nalaglagan, kumbaga, pero hindi ka makakaiwas sa kaso laban sa'yo.
Oo. Now, ang iba pang mga pangalan, I think pito pa yun or anim. The most prominent is Senator Bato de la Rosa, former PNP Chief General Albayalde. Am I correct? Tapos
Yes.
may iba pa. Anong nakikita po ninyong attorney? Pinaprioridad ba ito ng ICC or dahil nandun na ang perceived mastermind, yun na ang concentration?
Oh no, yung latter, it's not it. The case will be, sabi nga nila, in most situations, up to 6 accused or 6 cases are opened. Kumbaga situation in the Philippines. Kasi aaralin niya ng ICC kung sino yung pinaka, kumbaga, with whom the buck stops. Pag sinabing, itigil nyo yan, matitigil. And in this case, Duterte is being pleaded as a co-perpetrator. The ICC, unofficially ito pero kinonfirm kasi ng ombudsman ng OSG, the list of 5 police officers, yung other names are Romeo Karamat, Eliazar Mata, and Edilberto Leonardo, that nag-issue daw ng parang summons or request to cooperate yung ICC. And then in Duterte's documents, there's a list of about 8 persons who are treated or considered as co-perpetrators. So, but that's redacted. So it's very interesting kung sino yung kikilalanin ng ICC na pinaka nag-isip patungkol dito. Kaya kung kami, because we haven't seen the list, it hasn't been disclosed, redacted pa rin, we will coordinate further kung anong pangangailangan, kung may kulang pa. Kasi for example, may mga police chiefs na hindi aabutin, katulad ni Debold Sinas. Simply because of the time. Hindi abot sa March 16, 2019 cut-off ng ICC because we left the ICC then. Sinas became chief of police around 2020, Manyanita, nung pandemic.
By default lang, no? By timing default, kahit na if that PNP chief was part of the implementation of these alleged EJKs and crimes, etc., etc., because of that, hindi siya pwedeng kasuhan.
Well, hindi naman sa hindi pwede, pero
Ng
hindi
ICC.
aabot sa ICC, yes.
Ng ICC.
And to note also that Debold was chief of the region. Regional police chief siya sa Region 8, which covers Cebu, I think. So, may kasalanan siya, pero baka hindi pa nga abot dun sa national network or national plan. So, medyo sabit, pero of course, with other remedies available, sana makasuhan din kahit paano dito sa Pilipinas kung sakali.
Okay, my last question is, we have 3 minutes to go before 9 o'clock, is a viewer is asking, actually this is a businessman, is asking, you are ICC assistant to counsel. There are other lawyers too, Filipino lawyers, that are accredited by the ICC. You said you went to training recently sa ICC. How does this work? Who pays Attorney Cristina Conti?
My clients, and my clients are the victims of the war on drugs, and thankfully they have garnered support from church groups and many other groups. Kaya yung watch party nga namin nung Friday, nakalibre kami. Thank you very much to UP Law.
Oo.
Tulong-tulong lang talaga